Hey, dude, you know what we were talking about? We were talking about the legendary nightclubs in the world. We were just talking about that. You know, we've got it narrowed down to 9. You know, and that's hard. Phew, and you've played them all.
Maybe.
Maybe, I'll bet. Is there one that you haven't played yet? As Mule, I mean, I guess the Almonds have played them all.
Well, which ones did you guys narrow it down to?
Okay, we narrowed it down to, you know, this 40-watt club deal for those Atlanta guys, right? We did that. Yeah. We narrowed it down to the
CBGBs.
Yeah, we got that in the top 5. CBGB in the top 5.
Played both of those.
Good.
Whiskey A Go Go.
Whiskey A Go Go.
Played the whiskey. Yeah.
Did that.
Troubadour.
I played the Troubadour. I'm 4 for 4.
Yeah.
The Cavern Club
in Berlin.
Liverpool.
In Liverpool. No, I haven't played there, but I played. What was the one in Germany that the Beatles used to play? We played in that building. There's another club in the same building now, and they took us down and walked us around to the place where the Beatles used to play in Berlin.
I'm not.
Or maybe it was Hamburg.
It is Hamburg, and it is the Cavern Club. It is in Hamburg.
The Cavern Club in Hamburg. And they also played a place called the Star Club in Hamburg. They did both of those.
Right.
And we, one of those two, we played another club in the same building. And the original club is now more techno disco or something. But the place we played was much bigger. Mm-hmm. But it was in the same building. They said, "You want to go see the old club where the Beatles was playing?" Absolutely. So we took a walk and then turn here, and they're like, "This is it." And I'm like, "Wow, this is it." You know.
Wow. Was that his Mule or the?
That was Government Mule. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Allman Brothers haven't done a lot in Europe. Mule does more in Europe than the Allman Brothers do.
What else did we narrow it down to? Some other ones.
Those are good so far.
So far, Roxy, the Roxy
in L.A.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have I played there? No.
Mule hasn't done a live at the Roxy.
I don't think so. We did the Roxy in Atlanta, but that's not legendary. Is the Roxy in L.A. still open?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, we did the Whiskey. We didn't do the Roxy.
They haven't done the Roxy, huh?
That's where Frank Zappa's live record is from, Roxy and Elsewhere.
That's right. How did you know that?
I'm a huge Zappa fan.
You are?
Yeah.
A huge Zappa fan? Yeah. Dweezil played here a while back.
Oh, really?
We did a deal over here. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen that, but yeah, that's where the whole deal started for him at the Roxy.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's my favorite Zappa record. Roxy and Elsewhere is a great record.
Roxy and Elsewhere, yeah.
What else would be there?
We had Lee's Palace in Toronto.
I don't think I played there.
Okay. Crocodile Cafe in Seattle, which was mostly all of the
Crocodile Cafe,
stuff.
the grunge stuff at that time.
I don't think I ever played there either.
Hold on 1 second. Have we got them all? Oh no, not the big boy yet. Yeah. I'd like to hear your story on this one in a minute. We're not live or anything. Mule 420 smoke break coming up. Just a couple of minutes here. It's 96 Rock on a hot day. Well, what would you expect? Here in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yeah, I know there's some like New York, like the Bottom Line in New York.
Bottom Line is, but it's dead now.
Bottom Line's gone.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
good riddance. I mean,
yeah.
Between us, I mean, everybody played there, but everybody that played there was like, why did we play here?
Yeah.
The Bottom Line literally had the worst hospitality of any club ever. No matter who you were, when you played the Bottom Line, in your dressing room was a little wicker basket with an apple and an orange and a couple of Hershey's Kisses, and that was your hospitality.
So there was no rider for the Bottom Line.
Riders don't exist at the Bottom Line, and the only person to if you played 2 nights, you only got the basket the first night. You didn't get it the second night. And the only person to ever get it both nights was Sonny Rollins, the jazz saxophone player. They went at that extra $5 for Sonny. But yeah, the Bottom Line would charge you for drinks during the break. You could have free soda while you were on stage, but during the break you had to pay for it. Wow. And that's hilarious. And what was the other thing? my drummer, when I played there in '93, or maybe earlier, my drummer was Steve Holley, this British drummer, played with McCartney and Wings, played with Elton John, played with Joe Cocker, and he wasn't feeling good, so he said, "Can I get some tea?" And they're like, "We don't serve tea." He said, "Where can I get some?" They're like, "Well, there's a deli across the street." So he went across the street and got some tea and came back, and they're like, "Sorry, you can't bring that in." And he's like, "I'm the drummer." They're like, "Sorry, you can't." He's like, "I asked you guys if you had tea. You said no, go to the deli. I go to the deli, I come back, you won't let me in with the tea." It's like,
that's
typical bottom line.
Yeah.
And in terms of the legendary nightclubs then, Warren, so the one we didn't mention is the Fillmore, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, if we say San Francisco, you know it's going to be Fillmore for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Would you say that's it? Would you say that's most legendary? If there is one, if you had to pick one, because that Cavern Club.
The most?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah, I would. Well, yeah, of clubs, so to speak. I mean, the Fillmore's theater, club, all at once. You know, the Fillmore is strange because it started out in one location, then they moved it to another location. Now it's back at the original location.
Do you have any Bill Graham stories?
I do. Yeah.
Let's hear one.
Bill Graham stories. Well, I only met Bill a few times before he passed away. But
was he with it at that time, Warren, when you did?
No.
Yeah, he was not a guy you could really talk to when it got into the late 80s.
Yeah, he would ride around on this little scooter.
Yeah.
And yell at hippies for not buying a ticket. Like if they were in the parking lot trying to wait on a miracle ticket or something, Bill would literally like get off his scooter and go over and start yelling at them, "You filthy hippie, buy a ticket!" You know. And he's but I think we need Bill now. Is what I think. I really think Bill Graham would make the marketplace better right now. It wouldn't be so. I don't want to point any fingers, but it wouldn't be so much what it is.
Yeah.
If Bill was involved. And the short period of time I knew him, I really gained even more respect for him than I already had just from his reputation.
Yeah. You grew up with all that stuff in the 70s, and that's all stuff you love. And that's why you do remakes or covers, like Mule does covers of songs like Into the Mystic, Van Morrison, when that came out.
Well, you know, we all grew up at a time period when there was some amazing music being made, for one, and all rock music, and you could put so many different types of music under the heading of rock. You know, back then, Sly and the Family Stone was rock, the Byrds was rock, Crosby, Stills, and Nash was rock, Hendrix was rock. You know, they didn't sound alike, but they were all considered rock music. But the thing was that
Joni Mitchell
was rock, you know, and all those things contained an element of improvisation, and especially all the bands that I loved, their live records were way different than their studio records. And so if you were lucky enough to get a live record by some of your favorite bands, you really could kind of study what made them tick, because they expanded the arrangements and played longer versions and took more liberties. And that's the way a lot of us learned how to play, from listening to live records, you know.
Rick Wakeman said one time, I just love this, he said, back then it was so different because when you're, you know, if you're ready to go record an album, you go record an album. You know, if you feel it, you just go in and do it right there. You just can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know about you guys. You guys may do it. Seems like you're real prolific. I mean.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of different projects for me in the past 10 years or so, and I still have a lot of stuff that I'm dying to record now. But, you know, it's just changed so much, the recording part of it. I don't think you'll ever get a record like let's say Steely Dan Asia or Fleetwood Mac Rumors, where they spent a year making a record and spent $1 million making a record, and the final product is something that's going to be a part of history. Though those days are gone. People are making records in as little a time as possible, and they got all this modern technology, and nobody wants to use the old equipment that sounds better but is less reliable. You know, and so you can make a pretty good record in your home these days, but you can't make the greatest record ever in your home. I'm sorry, you just can't do it.
You know, Neil Young said that deal, how analog was so much better than digital. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. No question. Neil has old Fender amps, old tube Fender amps with these digital claws that turn the knobs on his amps when he wants a different sound. He uses the digital technology to turn the knobs on his old tube gear.